Hey everybody, how are you? I hope this message finds you all well. And just getting done with the run. As always, every time you guys see me in the run, you might think I wear this all the time because it's always I shoot videos. But running for me is my therapy. It's what always gets my mind working. And I want to share some powerful information to you that I believe will be very helpful. That's why I use social media. I want to be able to share content that is applicable to everyday life. And so here it goes. So as some of you may know, I work in financial services. I run my own company. I do retirement planning. I teach people how money works. And I got started in this industry when I was 25 years old. Broke. I barely even knew what a checking and savings account was then. I had a lot of debt. How I ended up in this industry, sometimes it's still a mystery to me, but I was very intrigued with understanding how money worked. And when I got started, I focused a lot on the strategies of money, i.e. I learned about taxes, how taxes work, how to retire tax-free, how to read interest rates, how compound interest works, the different types of investments, what's the difference between a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA, 401k, understanding passive income, business, entrepreneurship, tenets of capitalism, free enterprise system, supply and demand, all those things that quite frankly, really changed my life. I mean, it's really valuable information. But here's what happened. Years into it, I had all this information down, but I was still getting financial results in my life as if I knew none of this information. I was still broke. And it left me wondering, what's going on here? Why do I know so much about money, yet I get results as if I know nothing about money? And that's when the personal development really started happening. And that's what I want to share with you today, because I believe this information that I'm about to share with you could really help you. And it's governed under three things. And we're going to go a little deep here, so bear with me here, okay? So, three things that are governed by one major thing. Number one, habits. The habits of money. Now, what I mean by habits is when I sit down with clients, I take an inventory, like a budget. Right? Some of you have done a budget. I mean, you can download a spreadsheet right now on Google and do your own budget. Most people avoid this because of the emotional stigma around money. So this has to be a very objective process, but it's actually very, very helpful if you're willing to face the truth. So taking an inventory of what's coming into the cent and what's coming out will let you know exactly where your money is going. Okay, and as most people, we spend unconsciously, meaning we're kind of impulse spenders. We kind of spend based on what we feel because we're not governed by a North Star, which I'm going to get to here in a second. And so when people look at their money and they say, oh my God, I can't believe I spend $600, $700, $800 a month just eating out and on frivolous entertainment, bar tabs, but we have no money in savings, we have no retirement plan, we're not closer to our goals at all. We're just kind of getting through the moment. And this is all unconscious, but this is the first step, okay? So you first want to take an inventory and you want this to be objective, meaning leave the emotions out of it, because if our numbers are good, then we feel good, right? But if our numbers suck and we have debt, we avoid it like the plague. And avoidance is also an issue as well, because we have emotional attachment to these numbers, which of course dictate our reality, right? But number one is habits, okay? We got to look at that. Number two, very important one, is your paradigm, your worldview, or your belief systems around money. Now, I grew up in a very low middle class environment. My parents who do well financially now, but when I was a kid coming up, they had their financial struggles, and I saw all of that. And unbeknownst to them, we become products of our environment. You may relate to some of this kind of jargon. Maybe you grew up in an environment where you had a parent that always said, we can't afford it. So if you go to your mom and say, hey mom, can we buy some Jordans? Can't afford it. Mom, can we go to Disneyland? Can't afford it. Mom, can we go out to this restaurant? Can't afford it, can't afford it, can't afford it. Repetition becomes lodged in your subconscious, right? All a belief is, if you look at what a belief is nothing more than a repeated thought. And once you repeat something over and over again, whether you're aware of it or not, it becomes lodged in your subconscious and it becomes true. So what's my point to this? Is what do you believe about money? Now, really, this is where I take a scratch piece of paper and really journal for 5 minutes. What do I believe about money? And as you read that 5-minute journal, you got to look at that journal and say, is what I believe empowering or disempowering? Now, if it's an empowering belief, then of course you want to build on that muscle, become aware of it, and build upon it. So, for example, if you believe that there's opportunity, let's say you lost your job due to this COVID-19, and you're like, you know what? I just believe there's just a lot of opportunity. That will reflect in your beliefs, in your thoughts, in your behavior, in the actions that you take, and therefore reality kind of conforms to that belief. The same is true of the opposite. If you believe that money's always a struggle, there's no opportunity out there, then that reflects in your thinking, which reflects in your actions and in your behavior and your emotions, and therefore that's the reality you create. And so we've heard things like this, right? Law of attraction, metaphysics, all this, but it's absolutely true, guys. It's scientifically proven. Whatever it is that your core beliefs are is what you experience. The outer is nothing more than a mirror of the inner game. And so you got to look at your beliefs. So to simplify this, do your beliefs centered around money, are they empowering beliefs or are they disempowering beliefs? Now, if you have a disempowering belief, the good news is that you can change it. Well, how do you do that? Well, we'll get to that here in a second, okay? Because that leads to point number 3, which is identity. Now, I'm talking about deep identity. Self-worth, self-esteem, self-respect, self-love, right? If you are someone that struggles with victimization, right? You have low self-esteem, low self-worth, and it could be because of the way you grew up. You're a product of your environment. It's going to reflect in your bank account, okay? And that's something that you really got to work on, okay? That's where personal development comes in, because you cannot give what you don't have. For example, if you're in a relationship, right? If you don't know how to love yourself, but you're expecting your partner to love you, you're expecting the external world to give you something that you do not know how to give yourself. And the same is true of money. If I ask you for $100, hey man, can you spot me $100? And you're like, man, sorry dog, I ain't got it. Well, you cannot give me what you don't have, right? So this is why self-worth is another way of looking at this is, do you value yourself? Do you believe you have value? Now this is deep shit, but if you value yourself, guess what? The value will reflect in your external world, i.e. your bank account. Now, what's my point to all this? Okay, because I don't want this to turn into a Tony Robbins seminar. But these 3 things, habits, paradigm, identity, are all governed by your North Star. Now, what do I mean by North Star? The number one question that I ask people when it comes to money is, if money was not an issue, Bob and Mary, how would you be spending your time? And these are people that have done okay by life. And they always look at each other. I kid you not, guys. I've sat down with hundreds and hundreds of people over the years. And more often than not, I get people that say, they look at each other, husband and wife. I don't know. We never really thought about that. And that's my point. And that's the question I want to ask you. What do you want? Forget the money. Let's say money did not exist. How would you be spending or investing your time? Would you be doing what you're doing right now? More often than not, the polls say the answer is no. And here's the truth. Look, you can lose money, but you can get money back. But you do not get back time. Time is the most valuable currency that we all have. And none of us, including myself, know how much of we have left. So this is why you got to be very clear, crystal clear. Like when you remember playing with a magnifying glass and you'd get that sunlight, and as a kid, and you could burn ants and you can burn grass because of the way you focus that magnifying glass and the way the sun hit on it. The same is true of our mind and what we want. And your North Star is the clear vision of where you want to end up when it's all said and done. You have the power to think that and create that. The reason most people spend and have bad habits unconsciously, and they're like, Carlo, like, I can't believe I spent $1,000 eating out. That's not really what I value. It's because you don't know what you want. And so we're driven by impulses, we're driven by external stimulation because we have no internal guidance system, because we have no North Star. And once you're clear about what your North Star is, then now your habits, your beliefs, your identity should all harmonize and be a reflection of that North Star. And then it becomes easier and all the dots begin to connect, because every decision you make, it's going to be governed. Is this decision, this habit, this belief, my identity, is it in harmony with the achievement of the North Star? And if that decision is nope, it's not going to get me closer, then you don't take that decision. And if the decision is going to get you closer to that North Star, the fulfillment of that vision, then it's going to happen for you. And then life begins to get easier because you're governed by an ultimate vision, your North Star. This is powerful information if you can really grasp this. And this is what I want to share this with you, because this is what I love to do for people. Now, if you ever need help with this, guys, believe it or not, I do this complimentary for people because I really want to help people wherever you're at. But I just wanted to share this with you because I hope that you can really look at where the game is changing now. Guys, materialism is out. There's so many people that have these nice cars that are just sitting in the driveway, and they didn't want those nice cars because they really wanted a nice car. They wanted those nice cars because externally they wanted validation, because they didn't know what they truly wanted for themselves. The true meaning of wealth is the inner guidance system. What do you want, right? Success, true success, is when the blueprint, North Star, matches the results, external reality. Let me repeat that. True success is when the blueprint, what you've been thinking about, that North Star, actually becomes manifest for you. But you got to know what you want. So I hope this helps you. As always, please share this video because I think people need to hear this message. If I could ever be a resource for you, please reach out to me, shoot me a message. I can help you. And I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are. What did you get from this video? Share your comments below. I love engaging with people about this type of information because it's important. This is where the game is evolving to. Mindset is everything. I love you guys. Hope you got value. Peace and love. We'll see you on the next one.